Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. In case you just tuned in, the program is Shagalinku and it's the Saturday's edition of the program. Thanks to everyone who's been calling, who's been sending messages, who's been sending us emails to tell us how they appreciate and like the program. We truly, truly appreciate your comments, your feedbacks, and your views about each topic that we do. We really, really thank you from all across the world. Every time we finish every episode, we keep getting feedbacks, commendations, and even topics. Some people go as far as letting us know what topics they think we should talk about the next episode. We truly, truly appreciate it. The program is Shagalinku TV. It comes your way every Tuesdays and Saturdays at 2 p.m. West African time. Please, like I always say, do remember to like all our social media handles. For our YouTube page, subscribe, and then click on the notification so that every time we come on air, you'll be able to get to know that we're on air, and then you join in the discussions. You can also like us on Twitter, on Instagram, and Facebook. All our social media handles is at Shagalinku TV to make it easier for you. Thank you all so much. We truly, truly appreciate. My name is Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari, and welcome to this edition. Of course, for those of you who follow us, you would have seen the flyers for today's edition. So you already know we'll be looking at social justice. What is social justice? What are the challenges that citizens face in assessing social justice? Is there always power play when it comes to social justice, maybe for gender, So are men more likely to assess or get social justice than women? Maybe people who are physically challenged and all that. Well, you'll be hearing all the answers to these questions from my guest all the way from Morocco. Let's welcome Ambassador Dr. Mubarak Afeko, all the way from Morocco, as he joins us to talk about all these issues. Your Excellency, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Excellency Manuel. Thank you very much personally. Thank you very much personally for your invitation. Thank you for Shagalinku TV with more success. Thank you for your staff, and thank you also for our followers. It's a great pleasure to be between your hand today for a great subject. We hope together in order to achieve it as well as we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We'd like you to just tell us briefly about you, what you do, where you're from, and then we'll go on to talk.
In fact, it's very difficult to talk about me. Then I am Mubarak Afeko from Morocco, fighter of human rights and peace. I was before a victim of unforced disappearance in the past in Morocco with my whole family. Then I worked for human rights and peace. I am ambassador at large for an international human rights organization in Morocco, as I am its chairman in Maghreb Arab countries. I mean Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, and Mauritania. We try to appoint ambassadors in each those countries in order to be connected about human rights and peace matters. Also, I am a high representativity of World Peace Committee in Morocco, and the vice chairman. This year, we create an African agency for cooperation and development. I am the first vice chairman in it, and we hope to introduce it in the whole African countries. I am also a member of a regional commission for human rights in my region. We are charged by promoting and protecting human rights in schools. We visit prisons. We visit all places negate freedoms in general. Also, we worked against torture and human rights violations. Now there is a great gain for Morocco for a short moment because we had its democratic path. In pluralism, in freedoms of expression, as such, of point Morocco export its model of transitional justice in last years. As Morocco also is a truth, but not a publicity. In our constitution of 2011, there is criminalization of torture and criminalization of enforced disappearance. And we have a right to informations about this. I thank all social societies, associations in our country, because they push in order to change laws. This is necessary, not only to struggle. We must to push government in order to change laws at first, in order to be respected. That's all. That's all, Excellency.
Thank you very much. Wow, thank you very much. Okay, so our viewers, you can be part of the program. You can start sending your comments, what you think about social justice, how you think it's accessible in each country, and what you think government and citizens can do in terms of seeking social justice. I'll be asking my guest, Ambassador, Your Excellency, to tell us briefly what social justice is, so that our viewers can also flow along as we go on later on to talk about the challenges. But in a nutshell, what is social justice, Ambassador?
Okay. I remember you asked me that to speak in English and to translate also in French. Yes. Then in order in order for to arrive a large diffusion for French countries, in order to know more about this social justice.
Sure. Please go on, sir.
Okay. About social justice, in fact, is a set of principles that define the equitable distribution of social rights. And that is also within a community. We must to have a lot of rights and the respect of a lot of that is in each community. In recent years, for example, circles of social congestion have widened. We find a lot of sitting, a lot of meeting, a lot of fighters on the field, etc. Why? The streets and the social media, especially, have become a destination of protests. In many countries, if we don't say all countries, of revelation and to demand legitimate rights, including work, health, adequate housing, safety, dignity, etc. Then a lot of people, we remember the Arabic Spring in the North Africa. You remember they asked about their rights, especially about work, education, health, adequate housing, dignity, etc. Then, for example, in many countries, now education become a private service, not a public service. But before, education was a public service. Government try year after year to give this matter to private service. It's not good for countries, for people especially, for poor people especially. But government must to be responsible about for education, for work, for adequate housing, for giving dignity to their peoples, in order not to touch this difference between peoples in the north, for example, in Europe, or in the south in Africa, or Latin America, etc. Then this is the problem. Because injustice, when we say injustice, is an old culture. It's an old culture. People can't accept it now. That was prevalent among dictatorial rulers in the past. We have government who were, or their nears, who were benefit about this injustice, but people are the victims of this injustice. And it was serving interests of some leaders, and a certain group was implemented from it. Is what we don't want. That we want that peoples were the first implement from this social justice. As for social justice, is a new culture that benefits the common people and is a guarantor of stability. When we say social justice, we say stability. Then all countries needs to be stable by what? By distributing all rights, all benefits for their peoples. Now, I will explain it
in French.
French, yes. Vous avez dit, your question, c'est quoi la justice sociale? What is social justice? La justice sociale, c'est un ensemble de principes qui définit l'égalité de distribution sociale des droits et aussi des devoirs dans une telle communauté. Ces dernières années, le cercle des demandes sociales commence à s'élargir dans les rues, dans les masses médias, les sociaux mass médias, Facebook, Twitter et d'autres, qui sont devenus un champ de protestation en révélation de la demande de légitimité des droits dans le travail, la santé, le logement adéquat et la dignité surtout. Parce que les peuples demandent de vivre dans un climat digne et respecté. Par exemple, actuellement, la majorité des pays, dont l'éducation elle est devenue un service privé, pas un service public. Quand on dit l'injustice, l'injustice, elle est datée du passé normalement, car l'injustice, c'est une minorité qui est bénéficiaire de ces valeurs ajoutées. Le peuple ne bénéficie de rien. Par contre, quand on dit la justice sociale, cela voulait dire que les leaders, ou bien les gens qui gouvernent, et le peuple, ils ont les mêmes chances de partager les fortunes, d'avoir leur valeur ajoutée dans le pays, d'avoir leur mot à dire et d'être respectés et d'être dignes. Voilà, c'est ça la différence entre l'injustice et la justice. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. So in case you just joined us, you can be part of the program. We're looking at social justice and how citizens can assess social justice. And I have with me my guest all the way from Morocco, Ambassador Mubarak Afeko, and he'll be taking some of your questions as we go on. But before we go to our next question that I'll be asking you on the challenges, let me just appreciate a few people who have sent their messages already. Maruf Yakase says, we'll be glad to learn from the guest. Thank you about that. And I got another message here. Paul says, Paul O. Pesson says, I have been looking for someone to explain possibilities of connections between leadership quality in Africa to social justice stroke injustice. Okay, my guest will talk on that later on the show as we go on. And please, as you watch us, click the share buttons to share to your friends and family so that they can also be able to join Ambassador and ask him questions or comment on any of the things he said so far. Okay, back to you, Ambassador, sir. What are the challenges, that people who seek for social justice find? I'm happy you talked about migrants and all the things, and you have also been a victim. So what are the challenges when it comes to people assessing justice?
I thank before our followers for their questions, and I can say that first of all, in any country, we must to sow an atmosphere of trust between citizens and institutions. Without this, we can't establish any stability, any justice, any kind of justice. Then we must to sow this trust between societies and institutions. I must believe in my institutions, for example, in order to change what I need to change in it, from one side. Also, we find that the continuation of descent of social backwardness is an obstacle for societies in order to pass to other side, in order to have this will of changing laws or minds or any bad things in the society, because we must return back and to do a back step behind, but we must to advance. How we must to advance is I must to have a trust in what you need as a government, as an institution, as a country, as a leader. I must to trust you. Then is the first step. The second step, the government and leaders must to take citizens as their partners, not like their enemies. Several other springs are blocking societies for moving from injustice to social justice. Like ignorance, for example, we must sow education, good education for our peoples in order to be ignorant, because ignorance is a bad blockage who can't block societies in order to advance.
Sure.
Also, introduction of other countries. We say we followed many times in Africa, for example, in whole Africa elections. We find other European countries who comes to put their leaders or to choose their leaders, but it's a matter of society, not other countries. Our peoples and our societies must to choose the good man in order to be a leader, not to open the door for others in order to come to choose as a leader, for example. They can choose someone who can be an advocate for them, not for our society, not for our people. Then leaders must be selected from the society, and so peoples must to choose their leaders freely without any blockage, without any introduction of others. This is also a great problem. We find some countries, for example, France or other country, want to put a leader because he is from their side, or so. Then, as he is from their side, of course, he will be against side of the peoples. Then peoples must work in order to choose their leaders. This is also a factor. I will explain this in French.
Okay, go on, sir.
Ben, vous avez dit quels sont les défis rencontrés dans la recherche de la justice sociale. Avant tout, il faut semer l'atmosphère de confiance entre les peuples et les institutions. Il est nécessaire pour atteindre la stabilité et mettre l'intérêt du pays avant tout. Ça, c'est nécessaire. Car continuer à faire le recul dans tout ce qui est social n'est pas favorisé pour la société. Plusieurs autres obstacles peuvent mener à l'injustice, transmettre une société de l'injustice à la justice sociale. Je dis bien l'ignorance. L'ignorance aussi, c'est un facteur qui bloque les peuples pour avancer. Ou bien l'introduction des décisions d'autres pays qui cherchent d'un moment à l'autre à choisir leurs leaders, les leaders des pays africains. Donc, c'est un inconvénient aussi. Pourquoi? Parce que ce sont les peuples qui doivent choisir leurs leaders, ils doivent choisir leurs lois et choisir leurs institutions. Donc, ce n'est pas quelqu'un d'autre qui a des intérêts politiques ou économiques, etc., pour venir nous changer de meilleur au plus meilleur. Jamais de la vie. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. I like the fact that you talked about two key things really struck out or came out for me. You talked about that government has to get the trust of the citizens. You know, they must begin to work in a way that the citizens must begin to also trust them. And then particularly, I like the fact where you talked about citizens also being as partners. So government shouldn't see citizens when they complain about issues like they're antagonizing them or they hate them, but that citizens should always be carried along as partners. And that's really key for African countries and even world leaders. You know, they're supposed to always carry the citizens along. Come to think of it, is the citizens that actually voted or chose their leaders. In case you just joined us, is over 23 minutes gone past the hour of 2 o'clock. And don't forget, this is Shagalinku TV, and my name still is Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari. And we're looking at the subject, social justice. How can citizens seek social justice? And I have with me here Ambassador Dr. Mubarak Afekwo, all the way from Morocco, and then we're looking at social justice and talking about it all. Drop your comments here and we'll be reading them as the program goes on. In fact, I will take a few messages now, and then I'll come back to ask you about the operation of administration, you know, that was regulation of migrants that was launched sometime back in Morocco, so that you could give us a brief about that. But let's take a few messages, and then we'll come back and ask that. This is from Nasiru Yusuf Ibrahim, and it says, well done, Ambassador. I got this other one here from Christopher Ugu. It says, always proud of you. Keep up the good work, my boy. Always there to support your initiative. Okay, noble initiative. Congratulations. I got a very long one here, so let me quickly read this, and then we come. Okay, before I read this, let me take this one here. Jelin G. Foucault. She's from Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. She's watching us all the way from Tanzania. She says, Oga, I am following. Okay, thank you so much, Jelin. And I hope you see our guest all the way from Morocco as well. Thank you so much. Jelin is another activist from Tanzania. Okay, so Ambassador, let me take this message quickly, and then you can start responding. Injustice going on our community is high, which is due to a lot of factors. Some of the social injustice found in our society include racial injustice, income gap, hunger, and food insecurity. So one of the ways we can attain justice is giving more access to people and practicing equity in economic resources and power. This is from Matthias Idris. Ambassador, do you have anything to say about this before we go on to talk?
Of course, because when we say social justice is a package, not only in social rights, but social rights, economic rights. It's a package.
Even human rights.
We have right. When we say we have right to expression freedom, for example. As we say, we have right to live in a good atmosphere. It's an economic state.
Right. Yeah.
And when we say, for example, I have right to be dignity, to live in a dignity. In a dignity means well economically and in social environment, in a good area, respected in my existence, respected into institutions and out of institutions, in street, anywhere, to respect women, to respect children, to respect disabilities persons, to respect all. Then it means we can have the same rights together in order to develop our society, in order to achieve this development, sustainable development we waited since many years, in order to for exploitation of our wealth into our country and to distribute it equally, etc. Then it's a global matter, not only for human rights, or not only for peace, or not only for social matters, etc., but economic also.
Thank you very much. Yeah, go on.
And about your question and how can people seek social justice, I think I must answer about this. There is several steps in order to require this social justice. Like, for example, effective recognition of the supremacy of international conventions relating to human rights at first. That any country must to respect the international conventions as signed in International Declaration for Human Rights and other international conventions signed by the countries, of course. Also to establish a real democracy after. than to have this will, the will in order to establish democracy in the country. Also to adopt a social and humanitarian policies, because the problem is some policies are not humanitarian. We find that only some peoples who can be benefit from those laws and those rules, but the majority of peoples are far from some policies. Then we must to adopt a humanitarian policies for to achieve those confidence in order to achieve this confidence between rulers and the rulers and peoples. To have also a total will to fight against all kind of corruption, because corruption is a great blockage and obstacle of democracy.
Okay.
To put an end to the annuity economy and philanthropy. Then we can't say, for example, that institution must to give charity to peoples, to give them this kind of philanthropy. But this philanthropy must be a right, not to give them a charity. You must to give them, for example, their rights instead of charities. A lot of countries, for example, they use peoples like they need charities in order to give them and to ask them that we give you this and this. Now they must to establish it as a right. Also to reduce differences between strengthening the middle class. Because the middle class, when we kill the middle class, there is a lot of way between the less class and high class, and there is now connection between classes. If we increase the middle class, it's a problem also. Then we must to help the middle class in order to be connected with the poor peoples and the rich peoples. To consider also education and training as the key of overall development. Because education and training must be a key to overall development. Without education, without training, we can't achieve this development we need. Also make to the human being a central axis of development. If we say, for example, that we must to do development, but we must to marginalize poor peoples or young peoples or etc. But the human must be the axe of this development. In order each one will find its place in this development and to collaborate for this development. If there is no human in our development is done for a minority, not for the whole people. I will explain this in French also.
Okay, please.
Vous avez dit comment les gens peuvent-ils rechercher la justice sociale. Plusieurs étapes doivent être mises pour atteindre cette justice sociale. La première des choses, c'est la reconnaissance de la suprématie des conventions internationales en relation avec les droits de l'homme. Aussi établir une vraie démocratie. Parce que sans démocratie, on ne peut pas passer à d'autres étapes. Et adopter une politique sociale et humanitaire. Là où l'être humain doit être l'axe principal dans les lois. Et militer contre toute sorte de corruption ou de philanthropie ou de charité, etc. Donc, négliger l'économie de rente. Parce que c'est un facteur qui détruit la justice sociale et qui détruit le développement aussi. Et essayer de ne pas réduire l'énergie, la capacité, le pouvoir de la classe moyenne. Car c'est comme le cartilage, la classe moyenne qui assure le soudage entre la classe inférieure, entre l'ensemble de la population, dont les pauvres et les jeunes, les femmes, etc., et la classe riche. Donc, la classe moyenne, son objectif, il est nécessaire. Et considérer l'éducation et la formation comme clé de développement. Aussi, mettre l'être humain l'axe principal du développement. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Okay, I will read a few more messages that came up from the flyers, and then we'll go on for you to tell us more about the operation of administration on the regularization of migrants in 2013 that your country did. But I'll just take a few more messages here, and then we'll come back and talk about regularization of migrants and what it all means. So I got this one here from Silas. Silas, he says, wow, I've been a secret disciple of Ambassador Mubarak. So happy to hear and see him as our guest. It will be great. Can't wait to see my ambassador. Another one here, it's from Matthias Idris, a second time. He says, I think everyone needs to recognize his or her position in the society, know their basic rights, and how to fight for them. And then another one from Abdurrahman Abdu, he says, yes, social justice is one of the cardinal principles of democracy. And Karim J.A. Jackson says, yes, and we see even at home in America, they can't get it right. Okay. I'll come back and take one more message. So many of them here, but these are some of the ones that came in here on the other phone. Chidera Ofoma's message is here, but we'll come back. Ambassador, please tell us more about the regularization of immigrants in 2013, what it's all about, and how that came to being.
Okay, perhaps I thank you through then by passing by you, of course, I thank all followers and I respect their questions. Perhaps I hear some questions that we will answer in the next about immigration and all in the next questions. Okay, I will explain all about the procedure. What happened in Morocco with regulation of migration in Morocco and all. It's a question I think we will ask about. I will answer them in my answers. I will pass. You asked me a question, no?
Hello?
Excellency. You hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go on, please.
Hello. I asked, they will answer in my answer for followers in my next answers. I will answer them about this
Okay.
question, especially when he asked the question about the regulation. Yes.
Okay, please go on. Go on and do so.
Then you say about question. You asked me your question. Can people begin to trust government? Provide, yes.
Okay, yeah. So you can go on and answer that. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. About peoples and and how to prove it, or how to trust governments in order to prove it social justice. I said before in your question, that we must to sow an atmosphere together of trust between citizens and the institutions. It's a must. Without this, there is a great divergence between two sides. We must to answer this confidence and this to create this atmosphere of trust between citizens and institutions. Governments too and leaders must to consider peoples as their partners, not like their enemies. Once we will be okay that we have one goal together in order to develop our society and to develop our country, we must to have a trust between us. And then you must to consider me a partner, not an like enemy. Then we must to be clear from the beginning. And peoples also must follow their rulers in all what they do. If they do good, they support them. If they do bad, to hold them accountable. Then without creating a war between the two sides, or to kill each other, or to change it by power or by force. No, but if you do something who is good or very good for our people, yes, they can support you. If you do it bad, they can struggle and they can make you and hold you to accountable in order to be judged and condemned, etc., because you have done something which is very bad for your people. In order to guarantee this stability, because each time if we create litiges and problems and war between the two sides, we return back to the past and we do more steps behind, and we can't advance, and this is a problem for advancing. Then we must to keep to do more steps in order to advance and to achieve our goals. This is our as long as everyone also goals is work on how to distribute the benefits of economic growth to all segments of society. We must to awake in order to guarantee this, to share the wealth of our country to our peoples, not outside, not to other peoples, in order to make our people very poor like we, and to spread the culture of solidarity between peoples, and tolerance and peace. Because if we accept to support each other and to sow peace and tolerance between us, we can advance also. I will say this in French. Vous avez dit, les gens peuvent-ils commencer à faire confiance au gouvernement pour assurer la justice sociale? Bien sûr, parce que j'ai dit avant, dans ma deuxième question, je crois, qu'on doit semer cette atmosphère de confiance entre les institutions et les peuples. Les gouvernements doivent prendre et considérer leur peuple comme des partenaires, pas des ennemis. Ils doivent se mettre d'accord entre les peuples et les gouvernements ou les leaders, comme quoi qu'ils vont tracer le chemin ensemble et qui sont des partenaires l'un l'autre, pas des ennemis. Parce qu'une fois on les considérait comme des ennemis, ben c'est une entorse qui ne va pas mener les peuples à ce changement désiré. Les peuples C doivent suivre leurs leaders dans tout ce qu'ils font. S'ils font du bien pour la société, on doit les supporter. S'ils font du mal à la société et font des gaffes qui touchent à la société, on doit les imprimer. On doit on doit les punir, je veux dire. Donc, on doit les juger et les poursuivre pour qu'ils les erreurs ne se reproduisent pas. Et chaque fois qu'on cherche à atteindre les buts, on doit veiller à ce que distribuer les richesses entre le même peuple. Donc, c'est avoir un équilibre économique au sein de la société. Parce que si on cherche à repousser la solidarité entre les membres du peuple, ou la paix, ou la tolérance, donc ça serait lamentable pour notre développement. Donc on doit assurer cette solidarité, cette tolérance et semer la paix entre l'ensemble de la population pour passer à ce qu'on a tracé pour atteindre nos buts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador. Yes. So I'll come back and ask you again about your regularization of immigrants in 2013. But let me take some more messages. Some of them are just greeting you. This one is from Chief Ogbenyalo Udala Okoye. She's from Dublin in Ireland, and she's giving you a round of applause on our screen. So thank you. Thank you, Lady Ogbenyalo. It's good to know that you're watching us from Dublin, Ireland. And then this one is from Nelson Semanmo Koko, all the way from Ghana, one of our very regular viewers as well. He's in Ghana, Nelson Semamnu Koko. Thank you. He says, great job. And also says, keep it up. So I guess they are enjoying and taking in what you're saying, Ambassador. So this one is from Linda Uche here in Nigeria, in Kano precisely. And he says, nice. And she also wrote, he's doing a great job explaining this. And she says, yes, tolerance, peace is panacea to a prosperous society. That's from Linda Uche. Thank you so much, Linda. And another message here says from Adam Wineri, yeah, and it says nice. So it's good to know that our viewers all across are also following and benefiting from what you're saying, Ambassador. So thank you so much. We'll go on now to ask you, I know in 2013, Morocco had this regularization of migrants, which you also talked about when we started the program, that you're also a part of. I'd like you to tell us more about that and how it came about.
Thank you, Excellency, for your question, and I will answer our followers in this side. Regulation of administrative situation of migrant is, yes, Morocco was willing to open this way. Before it was, Morocco was a transit country before. He saw that it was a transit country. Many people come to Morocco in order to go to Europe, to the other side of Mediterranean, I mean Europe continent. But later, it became a country of stability. Then Morocco saw that it became a country of stability. That's why in 2013, the National Council for Human Rights published a report entitled Foreigners and Human Rights in Morocco for a New Asylum and Migration Policy. Since that, till 2019, Morocco launched 2 phases of regulation of administrative situation for migrants, for more than 58,000 people till now. They regulate their situation in Morocco. They are the same citizen like Moroccan citizen. 58,000 people. Cases from various sub-Saharan African countries, of course. From various sub-Saharan African countries. African associations were introduced in this operation also for the success of this first operation and second in North Africa. Because Morocco was the first country in North Africa who had this will in order to open this side of
the border
for African migrants. Now they have the same rights with Moroccan citizens. Step by step, of course, it's not easy. This dossier is very complicated. It's not easy to open this opportunity for a lot of persons in order to have their papers and to follow them in administration. What they need, now they have a lot of economic advantage.
Hello. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Then, okay. Go on.
Okay. Then I say it's not easy to follow them. I was in a mechanism of migration in. We send a lot of associations. We meet them in order to follow the situation from the side and to talk with migrants and to see their problems and to transmit their sufferings, etc. Then we followed them and we received the reclamations and the requests from them, what they need, etc. If we find, for example, someone who don't want to rent an apartment to someone coming from outside, we can introduce our regional commission in order to give him his rights and to apply our vision in Morocco. Then now I have a lot of friends from sub-Saharan African, from the whole countries, and we meet them and they ask, and they are invited for many meetings, for many conferences about Africa in order to explain them their rights, what they need, what rules gives them, etc. And it was a great step. And now we feel that we don't live in Morocco, but we live in Africa. Because we find all countries near. I have Nigerian citizens who lives in my area. I have Cameroon citizens in my area. I have Malian also, Ivory Coast near us. Then we meet it and we work for Africa together, not only for their rights, or we work together for development of Africa. And I see that Morocco is gonna works in this side also. I don't know what about time, but I will explain in French shortly. Okay. J'ai dit le Maroc avait la volonté d'ouvrir ce dossier de régularisation de situation des Africains subsahariens, des migrants venant de toute l'Afrique. Donc, jusqu'à maintenant, notre pays a atteint le nombre de 58, à peu près 58 000 cas qui ont été régularisés et qui ont les mêmes droits que les Marocains. Le Maroc, entre 2013 et 2019, il a ouvert 2 phases de régularisation dont l'ensemble des étrangers ont postulé, ont déposé leur dossier, ils ont eu leur carte, etc. Donc, ils n'ont pas de problème, ils vivent au sein de la société marocaine comme des Marocains, au niveau des lois, des droits et des devoirs. Comme aussi on a introduit les associations africaines subsahariennes pour travailler de près avec les migrants, pour ceux qui parlent anglais, qui parlent français, etc., pour leur expliquer les procédures et tout. Donc, jusqu'à maintenant, ils ont les mêmes droits et ils sont nos voisins. Et s'il y a un problème, on reçoit le Conseil national des droits de l'homme, qui est l'institution de recours aussi, qui fait le suivi, et ces 12 commissions régionales, elles reçoivent les réclamations et les demandes, etc., s'il y a un problème quelconque. Thank you very much, Excellency.
Thank you. We're really running out of time, so I'll just quickly read some of these messages now, and I'll ask you for your final words of advice in another 30 seconds. We're really running out of time, so maybe we'll just find time and come back for a part 2. But let me just take some more messages here, and then you just tell us your final words. This one is from Chidera Ofoma. It says, social justice assigns rights and duties in the institution of society, which enables people to receive the basic benefits and burdens of cooperation. The relevant institutions often include taxation, social insurance, public health, public school, public services, labor law, and regulation of markets to ensure fairness. And Said Olalekan Ahmed says, no justice in the jungle. And then Chidera Ofoma a second time comes again with this other one. It says, a major trait of social justice is that people of every race can live well and have equal opportunities. It helps promote equality between genders. It seems like discrimination based on gender is one of the oldest forms of injustice around the world. That's from Chidera. And we'll be wrapping up now. Really sorry, Ambassador, we really don't have time, but in another 30 seconds, what will be your final word of advice to everyone watching us right now?
Shortly, I will ask one thing, because necessary, is in order to achieve any changement, we must to pass by civil societies. We can't change it ourselves. We can't change it by struggling with a few people in the street. We can achieve this changement we work together in civil societies, in political parties, in communities, etc. If we want to really to achieve this changement. anything can't be changed for itself. Then we say we can sit at home and we say tomorrow they will change, they will give me flower life. Anyone can give you a gift. Okay, we receive what we must and what we have in our side by working night and day, but respecting also because, for example, when we saw a leader who saw people, for example, kill women or kill children, or he can do, he say that my society, for example, has a problem, a mind problems, then I must wait till they will be matured and they will be able to, for this changement, I will give them this right or this right. But society and people must to show to their leaders that they are ready for this changement. We respect each other, we respect minorities, we respect, for example, we say that I am against this minority, religion minorities, or I am against this minority of women or children or disabilities. No, we must to be agreed that we are a human and we have the same rights and we must to respect each other, and then we have a civil in order, a goal together in order to achieve this changement with our leaders, with peace and the communication, and to give them a proposition for this changement. But if we want to change, and we saw, and we want to change the environment ourselves, it's impossible. Impossible. Then we must to pass via civil societies and political parties and communities, etc., in order to achieve together and to have a majority and the support of others also.
Sure.
I think that's all.
Yeah, thank you so much. So one last thing you will do for us, Ambassador, before you go, I need you to speak in French and greet everyone who's watching. If you have organizations that you partner with or your organizations directly, I want you to use another 30 seconds and just greet them in French and thank everyone for watching today's episode.
Yes. Sorry, I will explain it in French. Before passing to the other question, I think the last question, Nora. On ne peut pas changer le monde par nous-mêmes. On change notre situation à travers la société civile, à travers les partis politiques, à travers les communautés. Donc, on fait pas le changement par des guerres et des angoisses. On fait le changement chaque fois que les gouvernements ou nos leaders, for example, nos leaders, une fois ils voient une société dont la femme elle est marginalisée, elle est torturée, les enfants sont aussi torturés, marginalisés, donc qu'est-ce qu'ils disent? Ils disent, voilà, ma société n'est pas encore maturée à tel point de lui donner tel ou tel droit. Donc, on doit se porter garantie comme quoi qu'on est une société maturée, éduquée, qui respecte les minorités, quelle que soit la nature des minorités, religieuses ou autres. Donc, pour donner l'exemple aux leaders, pour dire, voilà, j'ai une société maturée, donc ils respectent, solidaire et solide, et attachante à plusieurs avantages. Donc, on doit lancer la procédure de leur donner des droits, etc. Pas leur donner, mais à travers des associations, la société civile, les partis politiques, pour faire pression sur les gouvernements pour kidnapper ce genre de droits dont on a besoin ensemble. Mais une personne ne peut rien changer et il ne suffit pas de voir et de parler, de regarder, de faire des commentaires, etc. Mais il faut s'injecter dans l'ensemble de la société, dans des sociétés, la société civile, dans des partis politiques pour atteindre le changement désiré. Merci. Then, thank you very much, Excellency. I will pass, I think, for the next to the next question. Okay.
Okay.
Hello.
I just wanted you to greet your people because we need to wrap up now. We've actually exceeded the time, so I would need you to just say one last greeting in French to everyone who's watching us right now, so that we could just wrap up. Yeah.
Yeah, I will do it in English and in French. Okay.
Please do. Yeah.
Said about our organizations, what they represent in Africa, for example. In our organizations, in fact, for human rights, like other organizations, and we try to sow peace between peoples and to respect minorities, to encourage human actions, and we work to ensure a precious world for all in general, because without international organizations, we can't hear about situations in each country. And now in Africa, it's international organizations more than the past, in order to support their actions and mediating roles between the ruler and the ruled whenever conflict arises. Because we must avoid conflicts in any countries, and the international organizations are like witnesses in any country. They must to do this arbitration between peoples and rulers. J'ai dit bien l'organisation internationale, les organisations internationales et leur but en Afrique en général, c'est pour semer la paix et le respect des minorités, surtout religieuses, et les droits des sociétés, et encourager l'action humanitaire en général. Donc, l'Afrique, jusqu'à maintenant, il a besoin de plusieurs organisations internationales. Pourquoi? Pour jouer le rôle du soudage entre les gouvernements et les populations, surtout la population démunie. Pourquoi? Pour éviter chaque fois qu'il y a un conflit, pour le dissoudre. Donc, c'est l'intervention des organisations internationales pour dissoudre ce genre de conflit et de minimiser le problème et d'essayer de trouver un air de compréhension entre les gouvernements et les peuples, etc., pour ne pas atteindre une catastrophe en général. C'est pourquoi on travaille à l'échelon international et l'Organisation internationale des droits de l'homme, elle travaille sur tout ce qui est humanitaire en général. Merci. Thank you very much, Excellency.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. Well, I want to thank everyone who's joined us today. It's been a very wonderful time just listening to Ambassador Mubarak Afoko, all the way from Morocco. And we're looking at social justice and how people or citizens can access social justice. And I like the fact where he talked about the collaboration that both citizens and government has to do to make the world a better place. Because the truth about social justice is for equity, for peace, and for tranquility, you know. So this is a clarion call to everyone. You have a role as a citizen even as much as the government has its role, but we must also begin to play our civic duties to make sure that the world becomes a better place. I want to thank everyone who joined us from across the globe. Thanks to everyone who sent messages. Till we see you again on Tuesday for a fresh edition of the program. Please don't forget to like our social media handles. Go to our YouTube page and like our YouTube. We're streaming live in double places now on our YouTube page now and on Facebook as well. So please pass it to your friends, share with your friends, and let them also be a part of it. The videos will be on after the program, so you can also watch it for those of our viewers whose countries' destinations are several hours different. When they wake up, they can still see the videos to watch, and you can share it around. I see some comments here, but unfortunately, this is the size we can take. Maybe when we have Ambassador a second time around to talk with us, he'll be responding to the other questions. Like I said, like all our social media pages on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram, it is at Shagalinku TV. My name is Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari from Nigeria, urging you to have a beautiful Saturday and enjoy the rest of the day. God bless you all, and bye-bye.
I will to